Now at 10, a teenage girl shot and killed this afternoon in Salt Lake City. People gathering tonight in her memory. More on who police say shot her. Plus,
if you are someone who consumes alcohol, make sure you don't mix it with driving.
Today marking 1 year since the death of Eli Mitchell, the 13-year-old boy who was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Family and friends getting together for a memorial tonight, and something special put in place in his honor. And writer E. Jean Carroll in court today taking the witness stand, claiming former President Donald Trump raped her in a Manhattan dressing room nearly 30 years ago.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us. Tonight, a brother facing charges for his sister's murder in Salt Lake City. Police saying both are under the age of 18. ABC4's reporter Elena Castro has been following the story today and joins us live now from Salt Lake City with the very latest on this case. Elena.
It's a somber scene tonight here in the Salt Lake City area. The shooter is now in custody, but that does not take away the pain that those close to the victim are now facing. We do know that both the victim and the shooter are minors and that 2 people have been detained in relation to this. The weapon has been recovered by SLCPD, and they expect for the shooter to be booked into the Salt Lake County Juvenile Detention Center on a single count of murder.
Our officers responded along with Gold Cross and Salt Lake City Fire, where they attempted to provide medical aid for the victim of this shooting. Upon arrival, unfortunately, a female juvenile was deceased, and our officers began their investigation.
Friends and loved ones of the victim came by and held a small gathering for her. They were too shaken to speak with us, but they left candles and balloons in her memory. Details are still developing, but we don't know why this happened. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Elena Castro, ABC4 News.
Elena, thank you. The Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office filing an aggravated sexual abuse of a child charge against a longtime elementary school teacher. This is a photo posted on the school's website that identifies this man as Jared Tichy, who's accused of touching a student inappropriately while teaching 2nd grade at Edison Elementary School. District Attorney Sim Gill saying his office applauds the young survivor who spoke up and reported the allegation. Now, if convicted, Tichy could spend up to life in prison for this first-degree felony.
And new at 10, today marking 1 year since 13-year-old Eli Mitchell was hit and killed by a drunk driver in West Jordan. Well, tonight, family holding a memorial event in his honor where he was hit. The community coming together, sharing their favorite memories of Eli. His family saying that it's felt like an eternity since they've last seen him. They say that he was incredibly kind, funny, and a wonderful son and friend to those that knew him. They did acknowledge that this year has not been easy, but his family says it's been an honor to be able to share who Eli was with others. The mayor of West Jordan also attending tonight's event.
Fortunately, 1 year later, we haven't had other incidents like this intersection. We want to draw some attention to that. You might notice the white bicycle over there. That's a ghost bike that has no body on there. That's as a stark reminder of what happened to this location. We want to bring attention to that so that it doesn't happen to others and that we can make a difference in what's going forward in the future.
Mayor Burton continued to say that while Eli did nothing wrong, someone else made the poor choice to drink and drive, which resulted in his death. Continuing to say that there are many ways to get around other than driving if you decide to drink.
New developments tonight, a 3rd house in Draper collapsing and the original builders, Edge Homes, choosing to demolish it. 2 homes sliding off a cliff over the weekend and this 3rd home collapsing. Edge Homes demolishing it just this morning. Now, the homes on both sides have been evacuated. They're asking the public to steer clear of this area for safety. A lot has been happening in Draper from recent flooding. Here's Mayor Troy Walker on what's happening now.
And so our goal today is to get that removed and hauled off, and then that'll allow us to start looking at the hillside and, shoring it up, down below.
Mayor Walker standing behind Edge Homes and is working with them in hopes of lifting the community and driving things forward to a more stable situation.
All right, let's head over for a first look at the forecast tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Lana Brophy tracking this water year, not only here at home, but across the region. It's been a big one, Alana.
Yeah, we've seen soggy conditions for sure. And when we talk about the water year, we have to remember that started back on October 1st. Now, as we look throughout the region, you can see Salt Lake, Cedar City, Logan, Moab, all well above where we should be, which is great news, meaning that we received a lot of moisture. We needed that. It was a record-breaking snow year, but we were dry today. High pressure really impacting what's going on in the Beehive State and in the western United States. Maybe just a few clouds here in the last few hours, but that high keeping us really quiet. We'll see increasing cloud cover into tonight. Clear skies, we're out there. Such a beautiful shot. There's the Capitol and those blooms on the trees. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom, taken by our very own Thomas Gieboy, and it was just gorgeous out there. Of course, we know that pollen is a bit of an issue. We had a lot of moisture, and as a result, mold is very high. Mold spores really thrive with moist environments, and that's been the case. Tree pollen is low, but we're keeping our eye on elm and oak. So if you're an allergy sufferer, that's what's bugging you. Temperatures today were really pleasant. They were right where they should be this time of year, and tonight we're sitting in the 50s, 55 in Salt Lake, 71 in St. George, so holding on to a little bit of warmth down there in Washington County. Temperatures will be on the up and up. Now, your phone is going to tell you about that warming trend, but it won't tell you why. I will, coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, back to you.
I listened to you, not the phone, Alana. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. A new Idaho law to protect one of its lakes may soon influence Utah law. Bear Lake, roughly 109 square miles, and straddles the Idaho-Utah border. A group called Bear Lake Watch helping push Idaho Senate Bill 1112 through. The bill recognizing the lake as a natural lake and serves many purposes for the state, including being a reservoir and power producer. The law stating while being used as a reservoir, the lake must be protected in such a way it retains its basic native form and character to preserve its natural beauty and quality.
There's a lot of things we need to do to make up for the damage we do as we use it as a reservoir. We can do both.
Bear Lake Watch working with Utah lawmakers to draft a similar bill they hope to get passed the next legislative session.
And now to the trial of Lori Vallow Daybell, a mother accused of killing her two children. An emotional day in court as jurors heard a recorded phone call between Daybell and her sister, who confronted Lori about her two dead children. Lori Vallow Daybell's sister initially believing her, but after learning her niece and nephew were dead, she confronted Lori on a jail phone call. Her sister tearfully telling the court Vallow Daybell's kids were thrown away like garbage.
Don't understand. I don't understand. I want to believe the best in you. I really do. I love you with all my heart. It kills me. But they were just little kids. I don't understand. Think I'm in pain? No, I don't. I think you were dancing on the beach having a great time. Getting married. Nobody knows what I've been through.
Authorities finding JJ and Tylee's bodies in Doomsday author Chad Daybell's backyard 9 months after they were last seen alive. A doctor on the stand today in court saying Vallow Daybell's son JJ died of asphyxiation. The autopsy found he had a plastic bag over his head and mouth. The autopsy also found bruising on his upper arms and around his wrists where he was bound with duct tape. Vallow Daybell's daughter Tylee's body was found burned and separated into multiple bags, leaving the cause of her death unknown. As for Lori, she sat almost motionless in court with her head down today. Stick with ABC4 News with continuing coverage of the Daybell trial. We will, of course, be bringing you the latest developments here on air and always online at abc4.com.
New at 10, a man found dead at Canyonlands National Park after an unoccupied vehicle was discovered. That happening in the Maze District on Monday. A search and rescue team finding the body of a 48-year-old male from Nederland, Colorado, not too far from the vehicle. The body transferred to the Utah Office of the Medical Examiner. An investigation is ongoing and the cause of death is currently unknown. In a new study conducted by the online jigsaw site I'm a Puzzle, Utah ranking among the most video game obsessed states in the country at number 4. The site analyzing more than 1,000 search terms related to video games and gaming in each state to determine which of them has had the most interest in the topic in the past 12 months. Nevada coming in first, Georgia second, and New York third.
Also new at 10, a Cooking with Cam event hosted by Mountain Land Design in South Salt Lake tonight. University of Utah quarterback Cam Rising, one of 5 U of U football players participating in the cooking competition styled after the show Chopped, where the players used secret ingredients. Well, Chef Jen Martello saying that tonight is a celebration.
We're here tonight because we're celebrating the University of Utah and our clients that come into MLD. MLD, we sell some of the best cooking appliances. We have a big tailgating crew, and we're such big U fans that we have invited the football players here tonight and some of our favorite clients to cook.
Okay, the 5 players were captains of each cooking team using the secret ingredient. That secret ingredient was nacho cheese tonight.
Coming up, a bill passing today pushing for major spending cuts. This is the deadline to raise the national debt limit is quickly approaching. Why the bill is likely going nowhere in the Senate.
And author E. Jean Carroll testifies in her lawsuit against former President Trump today after he allegedly sexually assaulted her 30 years ago.
And this is what it looked like in our valleys at the state capitol for the Wasatch Front. Check out the Wasatch Back. Clear skies, but snow holds on at Jordanelle. We're going to talk about this warming trend and how long it sticks around in Utah's most accurate forecast.